I was trying to think of like
Chad?
I was trying to think of the masculine version of Gwen, and all I could think of was Guan. Welcome to Reheating the Leftovers.
Aye.
That's pretty good, right? Yeah. Anyway, no, we're rewatching
The leftovers in the box.
Yes.
The doggy bag.
Uh-huh. Yeah. We are watching The Leftovers now. You're here with me, Tyler Harris, and
Gwen Hammer.
Tyler McKinley.
Justin Hammer.
we watched the first 2 episodes of HBO's The Leftovers, created by Damon Lindelof, part of our Damon Lindelof series, if you will. Here we are, watching Leftovers. And I'm about to summarize the entire first 2 episodes. This is a summary written by Tyler, read by Tyler.
Back to
So
the
here we
old
go.
ways.
All right. Episode 1. A little flesh potato won't shut the hell up when chore needs to be done. God, I wish that kid would disappear. Hey-oh, wish granted. Turns out a large number of people on planet Earth have disappeared. No indication of pattern or reason. 3 years later, during cardiovascular exercise, a man is confronted by a dog. Some sort of healer, it looks like. Does it? Is that what a healer looks like? Okay. Man, that's a really cute dog. Hopefully we see it in more episodes. Holy shit! The dog gets blasted in next week by a man who flees the scene. A woman who looks like Gary Busey walks out in a house full of kooky people. A bunch of 20-somethings are hanging out in a high school for some reason. Ted Cruz gets into a van. Topical. 140 million people have disappeared. We are living reminders. She Busey seems to live in a cult house where they wear white and don't speak. I realize who that woman is now. Busey is not on the list, but wants to go. Running Man is the police chief. Running Man totally streaks. Dead dog's owner doesn't care. Running Man may not have all his marbles present. Ted Cruz feels burdened. Wayne is as real as it gets. Heroes Day planning is going smoothly. The Remnant want to fuck up the holiday. There's dick measuring about a planning party. Ted Cruz meets Wayne. Running Man's son, Ted Cruz's driver, Tommy, is avoiding his dad because he's got flirting to do. The Remnants will now be referred to as the Smoking Mormons. Busey gets a picture of Arwen. Dad is feeling good. Tommy is in trouble with Wayne. Jill is going to a party. Busey and sidekick stalk Arwen and David Beckham. Jill's once best wingman bangs her crush at the party. Max is a master of words and when to use them. And we snap it. And he snaps at the Smoking Mormons, slaps Busey, and David Beckham takes her inside. Okay. Jill and the Winklevoss twins bury the dog from the beginning. Some of the dogs in the world went nuts when the people disappear. Wayne needs to talk about Christine. Wayne doesn't want Tommy stepping on his Asian fetish because some bad shit is coming. Wayne informs him of his prophetic dreams. Tomorrow's a big day according to these dreams. Chief Garvey keeps seeing elk do weird shit. Garvey's late for Hero Day and his kitchen is busted as fuck. Also, Jill's not back yet. Smoking Mormons, roll out. The statue would have been better. It was Luis Guzman. Nora lost her entire family. She speaks at Hero Day. During her heartfelt moment, the Smoking Mormons show up. Ballroom Blitz. Holy shit! It's actual Gary Busey. Garvey sees dog murderer. She Busey is named Lori. She is Garvey's wife. He asks her to come home from Crazyville. She does not. Arwen arrives to join the Smoking Mormons. Silent Party speaks to Arwen for the first and last time. Crazy dogs kill an elk. They are not our dogs. The chief and riflemen shoot said dogs. Episode 2. Discount Rip Torn wants to get Wayne. Riot Gear dudes raid Wayne Ranch. Tommy protects Gummy Worm Girl. Amy is in the chief's bed or in his hand. Those teeth are important. At first I said impotent. I was like, this is just okay. Garvey has a great relationship with his shrink. Arwen and Chief Busey physically bury the hatchet. Laura's got a gun. The Winklevoss twins get the idea for Uber. Arwen thinks it's stupid. Tommy and Christine meet Wayne at a gas station. Arwen lies about her name. Patty wants to cut Arwen loose. Plug for The Wire. The mayor is done with the chief shooting dogs. That toaster is important. Laura conducts surveys for government dollars. David Beckham meets with Garvey. Makes it clear he doesn't want to convince Arwen to come back. The dog hunter's truck is found in Garvey's driveway. Wayne gets fresh with a corpse and offers to take Tom's guilt. Tom refuses. Arwen and Sheep Busey figuratively bury the hatchet. Fuck. Dog Slayer wants to hang out with Garvey and shoot more dogs. The Lord's work. Garvey visits his dad in a mental health institution. Garvey Sr. is speaking to people who aren't there, but they're sending someone. Arwen takes Gimli up on his axe offer and physically buries the hatchet again. So much axe. I forgot how much axe was in. Yes. Figuratively and literally.
Man, I could not believe my Busey payoff for that. I was like, man,
That was really good.
Is she related to him? I didn't even check. I forgot to check.
I don't think so.
I was like, man, this woman looks like Gary Busey. Fucking shows up. I love
that Gary, but why? I don't know. I guess it's just when you're writing this, you're like, why not? Why don't we talk about Gary Busey?
In the same sentence as the former Pope.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they
Gary
got
Busey was like,
followings.
Like just dropping his name was pretty high tier comedy back in like the late 2010s.
Yeah.
That's all you needed for a laugh is just to throw his name out.
That's when he was having like some real breakdowns. It felt like on.
Well, he had a
on
reality
screen
show,
and-
I think.
Oh,
And that's, I think, probably why, because
Gotcha.
he was just crazy.
what was the name of his reality show?
I don't know.
Busy with Busey.
I just remember a clip of him saying he's like, I'm going to rip your endocrine system out of your body.
It's funny because like that's a threat that if you hear, it's like I don't know exactly where he's going to attack because I can't remember exactly what my endocrine system is. Isn't it spread out throughout?
Yeah, it's like throughout your whole body. It's like not like really it's more of like a chemical thing, like right.
It's more of an idea than a.
It's not like a physical thing you could actually pull out of someone's body, from my understanding. It's like
You'd have to drain it somehow. It's deceiving the endocrine system out of
spigot.
yeah. Got my endocrine spigot.
But if there's anyone who could do it,
Yeah,
Busey.
it's threatening. It is threatening. All right, let's talk about the leftovers. So Tyler, you had like dipped into the show very briefly a while ago, right?
Yeah, I don't remember honestly how many episodes I've seen.
Okay.
Like I had totally forgotten about the whole Ted Cruz, well, not his storyline, but like Wayne's storyline
Yeah.
area and his Asian fetish. Like that thing was like I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had seen like the first 2 or 3 episodes, but that didn't retain a whole lot.
Cool.
I just remember the dog shooting mostly.
Oh, right. Okay. And Justin and Gwen, you had not seen this.
Correct. We had not.
You just didn't. Do you know much about the show at all? Or
No,
just-
and I'm
okay.
glad I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's fun going in blind.
So real quickly, this show is based on a book.
Yeah, I
written
put it on my
by-
Goodreads list.
Yeah. Okay. I will be interested to hear. I would wait until at
I'll
least the
wait,
first
yeah.
season is over. After the first season, it's like it's totally own thing. But yeah, the book is interesting. It's the author is actually a co-creator on the show and remains on the show for its entire run, I believe. But yeah, originally this book was written as kind of like a metaphor for 9/11 and the idea of having to deal with the sudden loss of all these people in this, like kind of like not like a thing that's not even comprehensible to your brain, basically. And obviously it's kind of separated in enough time when this show was made that's, I mean, you can still, I think there are still things that you can read as that, but it's really big. It goes some weird places.
I mean, I was thinking a lot about 9/11 watching the
Were
show.
you?
Yeah,
Interesting.
thinking about like our emotional response as humans to 9/11 versus the pandemic, just how differently we've processed it, like the sudden event versus the drawn out event.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I was thinking a lot about 9/11.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Were you thinking about that because you had read anything, or that
No,
was just
that was
interesting?
just
Okay,
what
cool.
I was thinking about.
Cool. That's really interesting. But yeah, I do want to preface this. This was like, I think this was like the first real big like profile show that Damon Lindelof had done after Lost. So he was very sure in all of his interviews to be like, listen, no answers here, buddy. Like, so that's, I think, a good thing to go into the show is like, this show isn't about this isn't like a sci-fi show where you're gonna find out why these things happened.
That's kind of what I was hoping.
Yeah.
I was like, it reminded me of Seven Eves, where at the beginning the moon blows up and you never find out why. You just see Earth react to it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping this show was going to go in that direction.
Yeah. And this is a show that is going to do that. It's also going to present a whole bunch of other mysteries that we may or may not get answers to. But it definitely is like, the characters are, I really like the characters. I think I don't know we'll talk about how you guys are feeling about the characters right now, but I think that a lot of the show's arcs for a lot of those characters are really cool, and it goes to some really weird places, so I'm just excited to talk about it. But yeah, so that's out of the way. Let's talk about the show. What are you guys' initial impressions? We kind of got a couple of Gwen's, like, kind of what it was making you think about and all that. Is there anything else that kind of like stuck out to you from these first couple episodes?
I mean, those are my two biggest ones.
Sure.
So I hope we don't get answers, which is a weird hope.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. I think it's Twin Peaks that finally broke me. That I was like, how can I like something so much and not understand most of it? I think. But yeah, I feel the exact same way, and I'm excited. Tyler, did you have any like initial impressions?
No, I mean, like, I am definitely gonna need to see more, because like I don't know. I don't think any of the characters are bad or anything, but none of them have really like. I mean, Twin Peaks has, Cooper and Gordon Cole, and I mean anyone from the FBI in that fucking show, like, that are so unique and so weird and bizarre, and they're just fun to watch and spend time with. There's really no one in this show yet that I'm like, it feels like Lost a bit to me. It feels like, something that would be on like ABC or something like that. Something that's more, it doesn't. There's parts of it that do feel HBO to me, like quality wise, and there's parts that feel a little, I don't know, more your standard TV affair.
Sure.
And so it's like I haven't gotten the wow factor from any of the characters yet for me personally that makes me be like, oh, I'm fine with not getting answers. Like, that may change. And like I mentioned, there's nothing that's making me detest any of them yet. Mm-hmm. It's just I don't have anything yet that's really wowing me from that perspective. Sure. But it has only been 2 episodes. I am very interested in like Wayne shit and where that's going. Like, that whole storyline is very fucking weird, and so I mean, I assume we'll get like some peel back answers of that, and maybe not necessarily like of the whole thing, but like I assume there's more coming there that I will be at least satisfied on a level of enough information being provided. If that makes sense.
Sure.
So
yeah, Wayne and his magic fucking hugs, man. Yeah, Justin, do you have any kind of initial impressions?
Yeah, I think I kind of feel similar to what Tyler was saying as far as like the characters as far as the characters go for now. One just like kind of aside, the lady that plays Pam, is that her name? The like cult lady?
Yeah.
I was as soon as I saw her, I was like, where have I seen her before? Who is this? And then Gwen had IMDb up, and it was like, oh, she's in Hereditary. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's why I'm already like on edge every time I see her in this movie, or in this show. So, yeah, I think for me, even though the characters haven't really like grabbed me yet, there are a lot of the characters that I just like. This is going to sound bad. I don't like when they're on screen. Like, I don't like them as a character, but like that's like drawing me in. That's a really bad way to describe it. Like, I feel like they're horrible people, and like it's just like I want to kind of live in that for a little while and like not like these people, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Like, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Like the dad, the main guy, whatever his name is, Kevin. I can't remember. Yeah, Kevin. He's a piece of shit, and like I kind of want to like see where this is gonna go with him, and like kind of just sit with that and experience him being awful. So, and it goes like we were introduced, or not introduced, but we saw like at the end of the second episode, the mayor, I think, who she was seeing Kevin's dad, and she like gave him a kiss goodbye, but it was like much more than a like just a peck on the cheek. At least I think so. It looked like it was an intimate kiss, and that like and the relationship that they'd set up beforehand with between Kevin and the mayor. I can't remember her name right now. Like kind of adversarial a little bit. And now there's this thing where she's like maybe in love with his dad, who's crazy. Like that was like the first thing for me. I was like, oh, okay, there's some weird shit going on with this relationship here, and that I feel like is kind of interesting. I want to see what happens there with those characters.
Sure.
Okay, wait. Other than assaulting the guy at the cult home, what does Kevin do that makes him a piece of shit?
He's a terrible
He's a
dad.
pretty bad dad.
I mean, he's trying.
I don't.
It's hard
I
to
don't know if
say
he
from like what
is.
we've seen so far.
Yeah.
But and especially because a lot of the times where we see him be a bad dad, we're coming in like mid
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to know like what's something.
Maybe I just give him more space because I'm terrified of having a teenager like that and just not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
There's definitely like
That's
some
that's fair.
like real barriers to communication in the Garvey home. From both sides, I think, as far as
I mean, like, I definitely think there are definitely many moments where, like, I would have handled that differently and, like, stuff like that. But at the same time, I definitely get it from his character standpoint. I mean, and kind of everyone in the show for that matter. It's like when you're losing these people in your lives and you're having this traumatic event, and, like, the situation he's in where he's under a lot of, like, his job is very stressful. He is also going fucking crazy, but not wanting to believe that he's going crazy. Scared to become his dad, who is in a mental institution, has lost his partner to raise a family. His family is feeling the effects of that. So I understand, like, the pressure and the stress and everything, and, like, I can empathize that way, but also be like, I don't know. I like things like that. I like things like that where I can be like, because this is going to sound bad, but my parents did many wonderful things to raise me. Some things they did not do so hot on. And fortunately, I had television. I should say fortunately and
Somebody
unfortunately.
killed a babysitter.
Like, so for good and bad, I was partly raised by the media I was consuming. Where, and I think there's some things like this where I honestly learned, once again, for good and bad. My parents were very like, did not want me hanging out with girls. And then when you turn 22, they're like, when you getting married?
So
it's
I'm
like,
to get yeah.
what the fuck? But no, like that. But like my interaction with the opposite sex a lot came from TV and learning. Oh, this is bad to do. People are acting badly to this behavior, so I will not be doing that behavior, type of thing. So I mean that is interesting to see on things when you are so consumed with being a parent and living life, you don't think about certain interactions. Like obviously, I mean, who knows? But I doubt Katie's disappearing anytime soon. But it's like, or joining a cult or anything. But it's like,
She hasn't been like smoking cigarettes or buying exclusively
No.
white clothes.
no,
Okay, that's good.
that would be concerning. But yeah, so I don't know. I enjoy seeing situations I can empathize with and put myself in those shoes and learn something and like think about things in different ways. So I think that there are ways he's handling it poorly, but maybe also in ways I've never thought of, situations I never thought of being in, I guess. That was way too lengthy for the comment I was trying to make.
No,
Sorry.
it makes sense. I think it's kind of interesting too that this family that we're following, they, as far as we know, didn't lose anybody. So it's like their family, as far as like the people there, they're all there.
Yeah.
They're split up geographically, kind of. I mean, the son, I can't remember his name either. He's
Tom.
in New
Tom,
Mexico
yeah.
or something. Yeah, Tom. But yeah, they haven't lost each other as far as like being taken by whatever it was that happened. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was one of the most interesting things to me, was to think about the family dynamics that change because of a tragedy, and like just thinking about what's happening now, like people getting mad at their parents because their parents won't wear masks or whatever, and like the weird life changes that happen because of national events, world events that don't necessarily affect you directly.
Sure.
Like I thought it was, I thought that was it's a cool place to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's the lady who lost her entire family. My mic just messed up and got messed up. But she's the one who spoke. I think she's the one who spoke at the Heroes Day or whatever it was, and then the one that the teenagers follow, and she seems like she's like obviously dealing with grief, but kind of has things maybe put together, and like the girls are following her because she has a gun, and so they're being stupid teenagers. Like, okay, whatever, but like she seems like kind of like a good person, which juxtaposed against this family that is all intact, that is just messed up right now. Yeah, kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought up the idea that it's like they haven't lost anyone, because that was, I think, I spent so much of that first episode. I don't know if you guys did the same thing, but I just assumed that the mom had been, taken or whatever, whatever that is.
For a while.
And then when it's revealed at the end, I was like, oh no, they're just fucked up. It's so sad.
It's somehow worse.
Yeah, it is, and it's. I think that that's the thing I really appreciate about this show, and that I like, and you guys have all touched on it, is the idea that these characters are really complex, and also we are basically just dropped. This show doesn't really do a lot of expositional setup for the characters specifically. We're given that thing before the credits of the baby, which, man, the crying baby thing, this was maybe like the most effective in a movie, like in a show or anything I'd ever seen, because it was just like, you can feel that scene is really great, and I think that actress, that tiny part that she has, is really great and really fantastic. Anyways, but yeah, let's kind of just go through the characters and kind of talk about the characters. We've talked a lot about Kevin, but let's just kind of start there, because we have some really weird shit going on with Kevin. We know that he's kind of feeling very not himself, or feeling like he's maybe going crazy. And then he just meets this man who just fucking loves to hunt down and shoot dogs around this town.
And chewing tobacco.
Yeah, and chewing tobacco.
Lots of chewing tobacco.
So much. I will say, as far as casting goes, fuck, whoever found that guy was like, I'm leaving early today, because this guy was literally doing the things that you wanted him to do. Like, man, what a violent energy that man carries.
Found
with
him
him.
shooting cats, and I said to him, "How do you feel about dogs?"
Yeah. He said, I've also got a truck, and I was like, that's perfect. Those are the two things I need from you. But yeah, like the whole kind of introduction to Kevin, I think, is really great. And like, I think this show does a great job of just really like this slow drip of information, and like so much of it's contextual as far as like kind of what you get about these characters, and in that way it feels kind of like Lost, but that there are actual pieces that I'm picking up and can kind of like start to see a cloudy picture.
I feel like it also does this in kind of a like the way that exposition is handled, it feels very self-aware too. Like there's this, like one of the opening scenes where Kevin and the mayor lady are talking about Hero Days or whatever, and she's saying something, and Kevin's like, as if I can't remember exactly who says what, but somebody says like, I already know this, why am I asking you? And like just that brief moment, like that brought a smile to my face. It's like, sure. Okay, I appreciate that, because we're getting exposition right now to kind of give us some backstory about what's going on, and the characters are a little bit self-aware about what's happening, and just kind of breaking the fourth wall a little bit right there. It was fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully there might be some more of that coming. I don't know, but I like that.
Yeah. So do you guys have any other thoughts on Kevin? I feel like we've kind of talked a lot about him. I don't know if you guys have like any moments with him that you want to talk about. I think. Oh, go ahead.
The shooting the dogs makes me think of Atticus. Maybe because Justin and I were talking about it last night, but that scene out of To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, but Atticus isn't crazy. At least in To Kill a Mockingbird. I haven't read the other one that came out a few years ago, but yeah.
I just remember
We pretend that doesn't exist, I think.
Really?
Because it was published under duress.
Yeah.
So
that's fucked up and weird.
I wasn't aware that there was a...
It makes me real sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Cursed child of classic literature.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyways,
Yeah. Anyways.
Sorry.
I think the scene, I think especially this pilot, I think this is a really great pilot as far as like pilots of shows go and as far as first episodes go, because I think for me, the scene with Kevin going to the Guilty Remnants like cul-de-sac or whatever and like very drunkenly like trying to talk to his wife was like one of those moments where it's like, oh man, yeah, people are complicated. They feel a lot of stuff, and sometimes it's too much. Like it is just thinking about like that whole situation and trying to like wrap my head around that is like real rough. And I think that it's one of those things that you start to see, okay, this is why this character is this way, you know, and the idea that like, man, for his sake, I hope this character hasn't always been this way because this seems like such a sad life. But yeah, he's really interesting. We'll talk more about him.
We do have a lot of like quick cut flashbacks to some sort of psychotic episode he had, I believe. He's running naked through his backyard.
was that him or was that
his dad?
That was his dad.
Oh, was that his dad?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was
I
him.
think so, yeah.
There's a brief cut to a
'Cause-
sex scene as well where he's talking to that lady in the bar and he's like, I was at home
Yeah.
cleaning out a gutter, which
All right, put it.
Yeah.
But then when he wakes up, he's got a shit ton of pills,
that's true. Yeah.
and so I didn't know if that was related to that, but I guess not.
Yeah. Well, there's more. I will say that there's,
New theory.
That stuff
His
is really
dad's not
important.
real, and he's his
God.
own dad. And classic check boxes. Let's check them.
My- Olive
My new
Wayne's-
goal is to find a show where literally all of your theories are true. I need just one show that can
The
contain
twins
it.
are clones.
And all of Wayne's Asian girls are clones too.
Oh my god, yes. And then every time you see the twins, it's a different set of clones.
I told Gwen this earlier, but I just want to say burying a dog that you find in your dad's car, it feels very high school to me. Like that felt exactly like something I would have done with my friends if I'd ever found a dead dog in the back of my parents' car. We would have had the best funeral service for this dog. It would have been awesome.
Dude, I would have been terrified of my friend's dad. I would have been like, this is his project.
He's supposed to protect us.
I mean, if we bury his shit, he knows we know. I know. Let's pretend we never found it.
Let's talk about Jill and the state of teen life post
Oh, good lord.
sort of rapturing. Man, did any of you guys ever play a weird app game in high school that was just
You assume I went to parties.
I was not assuming that. But
I didn't have a cell phone, so
yeah, that's true. I mean, this
were there
is
apps even in high school when we were
Yeah,
there?
I had a Nokia
No.
brick. There was Snake.
yeah. I mean, when I was in high school, it was a literal like Wheel of Fortune
Right,
roulette
yeah,
wheel that I had
yeah.
to physically, and it kept breaking, falling off, and
Never got to the burn part or the choke part for that matter.
Oh God.
Man, missed out on some good times.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I definitely would have spun that choke and been like, had no clue something sexual was about to happen.
no, that's yes. Honestly, the first time I watched this, I was like, "Oh
You're gonna
man,
do that stupid game where you like breathe a whole bunch and then your buddy like holds on to you and you pass out. Is that what's happening? Because that's what came to my mind when I saw that.
Oh God. Yeah, it's a wild.
And then the burn one wasn't sexual. I like if I got burned, I'd be like,
fuck. Not
I best
again!
be getting a hand job while I'm getting burned with a fork.
God, I was just thinking that you were getting the worst hand job in the world. Okay. Okay.
Jesus, fuck you guys.
Here's the thing.
Like heat up a chainmail glove? How are you?
No, I was just thinking just Indian burn, just like, I'm not going to do this motion anymore, but you know what I mean?
just with a rug.
I mean, I've had a couple. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that anymore.
Hey, guys.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, main lesson is like, I remember watching this and being like, man, remember when I was a teenager and I knew nothing? I had no idea how little I knew. Man, but yeah. It's great. So glad to know all those things now as an adult.
Because we weren't rich.
Was that it?
All the rich kids I knew were doing that. Oh, I don't know about that shit, but a step in the direction of that shit.
Sure. Yeah, so her whole, fucking, what's her name? Jill. Her life seems pretty fucked. She's trying to find some good outlets for it, though. Just
Field
cracking people in the
hockey.
face in field hockey, yeah. Which, I think that the reaction to her shit was a little overblown. That girl deserved what she got. I felt like that's just field hockey. Anyone who knows field hockey, anyone who's a real field hockey head like me, knows that comes with the territory. You can expect a little blood. It's gonna get rough out there.
I mean, the sport it's based off of, real hockey. Fighting is literally like, I can't believe you can just openly assault somebody in a sport and it's just like 2 minutes in the box and you can go do it again. You punch somebody in the NBA, you are gone.
Yeah,
Hockey's awesome.
It's real. It's
Although
real good.
the NBA would be pretty amazing if they let fights happen.
I mean,
It's already pretty awesome with all the drama that happens, anyways.
to be fair, like the Detroit Pistons in the '80s were
that's
just
basically what
fighting.
they were
just
doing.
beating the shit out of people. Like, anyways,
Malice in the Palace, man. Just imagine if that was
real.
every game.
And that's Jill's life.
mouse to mouth, 24/7. You got to fight to survive. Yeah. Any other stuff about Jill? I mean,
Jill's friend group consists of people who don't have upper lips.
Yep.
That's an important. I want you to remember that detail. It's very important to the next few episodes. Yeah, I guess I hadn't thought about that. Some delightful twins.
When they first appeared because they're clones. Yeah.
Bing.
They have appearing powers.
140 million people disappeared and 2 twins showed up.
I immediately hated them, but I actually kind of like them now.
Yeah.
They're goofy and seem just to be like along for whatever's going to happen.
Yeah.
They seem kind of fun.
Like if I had to describe them, I'd be like, oh, Jill's new cronies. Like it's just like these guys that are gonna do whatever they say. Sure, yeah.
I mean, it was I guess the ping pong scene was before the burning scene. But I was gonna say, in contrast with that, I'm like,
Yeah.
these guys are pretty damn likable.
Well, it's funny because I was in that mode where I'm like, what is ping pong? Like, what am I missing? What did I miss about ping pong? I'm like, oh no, they really like ping pong, and why wouldn't you? It's great. Yeah, that stuff's pretty good. Let's talk about Holy Wayne and his compound of. No pain. No pain Wayne. I don't know what you call this guy. What do you guys think about Wayne?
I think this isn't so much about Wayne, but about Tom.
Sure.
Just watching him versus Meg, and they're both in a different cult,
Oh, yeah.
and just like wanting to know the reasons why they're there. It seems like Wayne takes away the pain ? But Tom won't let him. Why won't he let him? And Meg's going to get rid of her feelings and her pain. And I'm just really interested to see those two parallel paths play out, because it seems like they're both joining cults, but for different reasons ? I don't know. Just like the idea of getting rid of pain without processing it, and sort of like not a corrupted Jesus, but like a twisted version of Jesus that takes your pain is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited
An
to see that play out.
Yeah, like dangerous feeling.
Yeah. Like taking pain with no responsibility.
Yeah.
It seems like he's like when he was offering to hug Tom, he was like, you don't have to feel this anymore. You did this horrible thing, but you don't have to feel it. And I don't know. I'm excited to see those sorts of themes explored.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully.
I do remember like the first scene that we see Holy Wayne in, like, actually, because I think we see him briefly, like, when the senator goes in, maybe. I don't remember, but I do remember, like, when they're like, hey, he wants you to wait for you, or you to wait for him, and he's going to come talk to you or whatever. I just remember watching that scene and being like, oh no, oh no. Like, I feel like most times when I see a cult leader, it's like, it's enough that I'm like, I'm going to listen to a little bit more what this guy has to say. But man, the like energy in that room, I was like, it's so, I don't know if it's just like, it's so like unpredictable. He seems like such an unpredictable force. And obviously if the things that people are claiming about him are true, like a very powerful, unpredictable force in this world. But yeah, it is a really interesting, like, I think like the idea, especially, and I've been watching a lot of like cult stuff lately, like in like modern day, like the Nexium cult and stuff. But that was just like this whole thing of like you're like restricting your physical body from getting what it wants, and that's making you more powerful and like able to attain your things. It's like this really, it's almost like this very logical thing, and it's cool to see like a modern day cult presented where it is that thing of like, it's essentially magic, I guess, you know, and like it's there, you just have to go and do this one thing, and it's, I don't know, it is really fascinating to me. But yeah, we'll definitely get more Wayne. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on.
I'd like to think that, and I hope, and like I said, we talked about earlier, I don't know how many answers we're actually going to get. I hope that all those very particular things about Wayne and his stuff has reasons that like aren't what we think, I guess.
Sure.
Like, I hope it's not just Asians because he has an Asian fetish. Like, I hope there's a reason that he just has a bunch of Asian girls there. Which is funny because it's like such like a fetishy thing that it's like, that would be fun to like present it as that. And then it's like, no, we actually need someone with Chinese blood to clone the twins or something like that. I don't know. Like,
so much cloning.
But
yeah.
But I mean, now transitioning to Tom, who probably does have a real Asian fetish, because it seems to be the whole foundation of his faith. Like, at first I was like, oh yeah, this guy's pretty devout, but then you see his interactions with Christine, and how that's causing a little bit of friction with Wayne, but really it's all coming into Wayne's plans. But then like every reason from then on that he does anything correctly in Wayne's eyes is because of how he's feeling about Christine, and even at the end, it's kind of shown where like he's freaking out after Wayne leaves, which would tell me that he doesn't necessarily really fully believe in all this.
Sure,
he's really there for her, and so I'm interested to see. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm very clueless on how any of this is gonna play out.
Sure.
But I just hope that there's so many weird things and interesting things about Wayne's compound thing that I really hope pays off, because it's one of the more interesting ones. I don't know, they're all interesting, I think, but like it's the most like separated from everything. It's the Ozymandias storyline of this show.
Yeah, I think that one of the things this show does too, like in watching it, is like that raid comes so early. Like we don't really get a lot of that compound, and so I feel like it is one of those things where it was like, when I initially saw that, I was like, oh, so this is going to be a story about this and about the idea of like maybe these people who are like benefiting off of this turmoil that everyone's feeling, and then it's like, oh no, they just got fucking taken down, and it's this whole different thing now. Now it's like this road story with him and this girl, and it's like, it's really, I think that that's one of the cool things this show does. And if we want to, I mean, we're probably gonna talk about Lost a lot, but like, I feel like one of the great things that this show does over Lost is there doesn't feel like there's a lot of air in it. Like every scene feels like things are happening, and I mean, by the end of that first episode, we have this huge reveal that they've set up only an hour before, that, you know, his wife is Laurie, who's joined the Guilty Remnant. Like, and I felt like by the time I got to the end of that first episode, I was like, oh, there were a lot of things answered, but now I just have a million more questions about the way the world exists and everyone's relationship to each other. which is really cool. And it's like I feel like it's a show that lets me stay just close enough to it where I never feel super lost, but I always have more questions, and I'm never like fully sure of what's going on, I guess, which I really like. But yeah, Justin, did you have any Holy Wayne like compound Tom thoughts?
No, I don't think so. Was I supposed to believe that Tom had like killed himself in the swimming pool at one point, or was it just supposed to be like a really intense moment? Because he like dives in the water, they show him screaming underwater, and then they cut away, and it's just like a still. The pool is still with him presumably still in there at that point.
I didn't think that at all, but I can
Really?
now see how you maybe thought that.
Yeah.
Because like it goes back to the phone and his dad's calling.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think that's another really interesting thing about Tom is that he's in this cult that possibly is giving meaning to what happened, or maybe not. We're not sure. But he's also reading The Stranger, which is about absurdity, which just seems like an odd choice for
Sure.
someone in that particular cult. Like, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the idea of like he isn't fully partaking of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it is a weird point of contention between him and the cult leader, and yeah, it's really interesting.
Tom's flashback when he's driving Ted Cruz to Wayne.
He does look a lot like Ted Cruz.
Yeah. He's asking him about college, and there's that brief flashback of the two people that jump off the building and land on the vehicles. I'm assuming that is something that Tom witnessed or was thinking about doing or something. Any
I assumed it's something
Okay.
he witnessed.
Yeah. All right. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to remember if there are any other clues as to how Tom has gotten to where he is right now.
Sure.
Yeah, stuff that I missed.
Yeah, that shot was really kind of it shocked me in a way, like probably, how do I word that? Like usually a suicide scene is supposed to be shocking because it's suicide. It was shocking because in any other show they cut away before they hit, and they showed the whole thing, and I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
that was very effective. Like I felt that way more than I would have if we
Yeah.
cut away.
Yeah. Yeah, not this moment, but this show does have like some real moments of like just brutal, like it is shocking. Like some of the flashbacks, even I think of even just like cutting to like when Kevin's at the bar and he has that flashback to him having sex. It feels like
It's
Jesus.
so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Let's talk about Nora real quick. We don't get a lot of stuff with her in these
Okay, is it
episodes. We kinda
Nora
talked
or
about it.
Laura?
Yeah, who's...
Oh, so there's Lori, who's the mom.
Yeah, yes.
And Nora is the...
But it is Nora with an
Nora.
N. Okay.
Nora.
There's times where in the first episode I thought her name was Nora, but then every
Oh,
time they say
interesting.
her name in the second episode, it sounded like an L. So
Wait, which one's
interesting.
Nora?
Nora is the woman whose whole family that speaks at
Oh,
Heroes Day.
okay.
Whose whole family
Who
disputes
has
they
the gun in
follow.
her purse?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. But yeah, I'm now thinking there's not a ton of these episodes that we need to talk. I think we've talked a little bit about.
I mean,
her
I think the
enough.
most fascinating moment with her is her in the restaurant,
Sure.
where she purposely
Yeah.
breaks, which would seem to indicate she is somewhat enjoying the attention she's getting. And who knows if that's actually what's happening, because everything is fucking. My appraise and critique at the same time of the show is I feel like the what the fucks are like way too all the time. Like I it's like now I'm expecting everything to be fake or whatever. Like I don't know what's real, and I think that's also the good thing about the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I find that interesting in her character because she was the victim of a terrible, terrible tragedy, and I believe her pain is real, but also that she seems to be having a really gross moment with it too.
There's like something else, yeah, for sure.
It might be like am I really experiencing this sort of thing? Like, did that really happen to me? And a way to reassure herself is to get the
Do something
attention from
drastic.
other people. Mm-hmm.
I see. Yeah, that's interesting. There's not a lot, like we don't see her a lot, so I just Just wanted to, we'll definitely kind of learn. Some
I
more
wasn't
about
expecting her to be a
past.
recurring character after that speech.
Yeah, I
Right.
wasn't either.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's yeah. That's I'm not gonna say anything else. Sorry.
She does seem like there's something very large for the whole show involving her character. Once we see more of her after the Heroes Day thing, it seems pretty big. And then like, am I reading that right? And maybe that's revealed later. I don't know. You don't want to reveal like, does she work for the government and
Yeah, we'll
some
learn
sort of like government funded program?
Yeah, we'll learn kind of more about like what that is. Get very familiar with that whole thing. One thing I neglected to mention we should talk about is part of this episode begins with some government investigation into why this happened that's been going on for 3 years, and basically they show back up in front of like the entire government and are like, we have no fucking idea, which is like, I feel like is the perfect thing to put in this show for Damon Lindelof to be like, seriously, I'm not joking, I'm not trying to trick you, we're not going to answer this. Like, you're not going to find out why this happened. No one fucking knows, and that's just the way it is. I think that's really interesting, and it was still like, I think it's I remember watching this the first time, and like that still felt like a really chilling moment to see like on TV in this world. Is like the world's best scientists are like, sorry, don't know. But yeah, and I think that, the idea of a world like that where now someone like Holy Wayne, absolutely, I begin to understand why someone like that might be able to take a bunch of power or like whatever that is, or like, I don't know. It's really interesting. Okay, let's talk about the giant white elephant in the room. White elephant. It's a gift exchange. I don't know why I said that. I was like, I realized that
I
was
didn't
a
even
thing.
register that that's what you said.
Yeah, I mean, I realized that was a thing as I said it. It wasn't like I was just identifying an elephant. It was like, this is a thing. Whatever. Fuck it. The Guilty Remnant and Laurie. Let's talk about Laurie. I guess. Anyways, let's kind of talk about them. Because I think that is another really fascinating aspect of this, and something that I don't think I've really thought about that much, but like this idea of like survivor's guilt, or like these people who feel this immense guilt that they are still here when all these people have disappeared. It's really interesting. Like, definitely, I think the group that we see that is maybe the most committed to just like what they do, because there's so much, we see so much of them away from other people, and it's still like this very monastic, no talking, eating fucking porridge and smoking cigarettes, which
like is very confusing of why they're smoking so much, and everyone does it. That's like part of the.
Is it like self-flagellation? Like,
yeah, like they're
like a way of.
We hate ourselves for surviving, so
yourself slowly.
we're gonna die of lung cancer.
And then there's that sign that they hold up that says "Don't waste your breath," but they're smoking cigarettes. Like,
That was very Westboro Baptist Church.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Like, we're gonna go. We know we're gonna piss people off enough to hit us, but we're still gonna do it.
I don't know, the vibe I got from them from like the first episode at least, like, is the show is trying to make me hate them, but really they're the good guys in the end, which they might be playing 4D chess here and making me try to catch that and think that. But
they don't know that you know that they know that you know yet. So you are a step ahead, I think, still.
I honestly feel the same way, because like there's this whole thing about like they can't talk to each other, but then like when Liv Tyler shows up to the house, like Pam or whatever her name is, she talks to her. Like, it's so there's like this, they're like set up as like these weirdos, these other that are wrecking the parade or the Remembrance Day or whatever, but like there's this compassion that exists as well. And like the Pam lady talks to Liv Tyler's character, and like it's like trying to help her with whatever it is that she's looking for at that time. So like, yeah, I think I'm right there with you where it's like I feel like it's setting me up to really think that like in the beginning they're the bad guys. There's more to it
But there's
than
like
that.
something
Obviously
they know that we don't know.
right, yeah.
I feel like that makes them the more dangerous of the two cults because they believe their own bullshit. Like maybe it's not bullshit, but they are true believers in whatever this is. And that, I don't know, like that's scarier to me than a sex cult, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird because, I mean, at this point, what are they doing? They're not necessarily doing anything to hurt anyone at this point, right? They're showing up at a public event. They're getting the shit kicked out of them, which isn't hurting other people supposedly, but like, it is. It reminds me a lot. I don't know if you guys know much about Heaven's Gate, like that cult, because it reminds me a lot of that. Because Heaven's Gate was basically this cult where there's this old guy who was like, Jesus was actually an alien. I can take you there. And people were like, fuck yeah, let's fucking get on a spaceship. That sounds dope. It's 1976. I love rock songs about Mars. And like, but like they all killed themselves. Like it was this ritual suicide. There's like 30 people that lived in, they all dressed in white. They all, and like, it's like, okay, like what do we do about do we have a responsibility to do something about this? Because these were all people that like chose this supposedly. Like at what point have they been in it so long that they literally can't make any decision outside of it? Like it's so weird. And like they didn't hurt anyone. They didn't kill anyone else. They didn't, so like, I don't know. I think that stuff is really interesting. And like the questions raised by it are really disturbing. And like, I don't have any answers for that stuff. So, but yeah, that stuff is really interesting. But that is where we find Laurie, who is to this point still Kevin's wife, whatever that means, when you've joined a cult and live in a cul-de-sac.
Cul-de-sac.
Oh, man. How did I not find it? That was, yes. Oh, man. A fucking cul-de-sac. That's good shit. Man, I love that.
Who's paying for this, I wonder?
It's a good question.
Like,
yeah.
How many mortgages they got now? Like,
yeah.
they don't have jobs, it doesn't seem like. So
yeah. There even, I will say, like in the next episode, there are even more kind of indications that there is a lot of money somewhere because of this, that they have access to.
Okay, that makes me more suspicious. Now I'm back to they're the bad guys.
Yeah. Like with Liv Tyler, she kept taking her possessions, which seems very much like a control thing. Mm-hmm. Like, we're going to do this ritual where you give me your stuff.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, for, a rich person who joins, it's okay, let's have your bank account.
True. Yeah, true. That's a good point. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about their relationship.
did we ever sorry, let's finish this and then we'll go.
Okay.
I'll ask you.
I just thought this was another great moment of exposition. Like you had mentioned earlier, Justin, that idea of like this kind of like fourth wall breaking moment of exposition. I feel like this is like one of those just really smart, like tried and true TV methods of being like, yeah, this person's been in a cult for a while. Man, how do we teach you all these rules? Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, we're going to put signs everywhere. Like there's all these weird like little snippets. But then also we now have this initiate into the cult and you're going to kind of get a glimpse of like a little bit of this process and what it looks like. And, it's really good. I'll be honest, I don't necessarily care for Liv Tyler as an actress. I think she's fine.
Dude,
I think there's a lot.
Worst part of Lord of the Rings, her whisper voice in that whole series gets under my skin. I like, just talk normal. I don't care if your dad was fucking Steven Tyler. You're trying to counteract his obnoxious yelling.
Well, no, that's the thing. There's a huge break in her voice. If she talks much louder than that, it just does sound like Steven Tyler. So I do get that. It's a hard thing, like, but yeah, I don't know. That's like one of the things in the show that I'm like, and yeah, I've got more complicated thoughts about it, but we'll get there.
Complicated thoughts on Liv Tyler. I'm excited.
Well, no, yeah, sure. Sorry, I'm trying not to trying to hide my cards here as I'm laying them on the table, but But yeah, I think that all that stuff is really interesting, and like you're saying, Gwen, like this very like also presenting a very familiar like the way we know cults work, which is to, you know, kind of strip away who people are until they can kind of like reprogram them into an ant in this colony of whatever they're doing. Mostly just keeping Philip Morris in business, it feels like. There are some of those scenes, like that scene where she goes to get breakfast in there and it's just everyone's smoking. I'm like, I can smell this room and I feel like I need to change my shirt right now. Like I feel like I can smell it on me. But yeah, I think that stuff's really great. Any like thoughts on Guilty Remnant or Laurie and that stuff?
I'm really curious of what they're trying to accomplish. I guess like they seem to, some cults seem very like we're doing our own thing. We're not trying to. Some obviously are trying to make big changes in the world. Others are just trying to be on their own type of thing. They seem to want to antagonize the rest of the public,
and they're actively recruiting.
Yeah, so it's like
who does that?
What is like? What's the goal of it? And so, and if it's just about survivor's guilt, like what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm miserable, so you have to be miserable too. Is that it? They can't be it. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just with everything else in the show. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. Sorry, what was your thought? You had.
Did we ever really get? Or maybe I'm just dumb and I missed it. Like a clear answer on. There's, I think it's episode 2 that opens with this government question mark room. There's 2 people talking about Wayne,
sure.
and they're like, "We gotta get him."
Yeah.
And then they go get him, but it's not clear if these people. They do mention the FBI, I think, but so they're not the FBI.
No, I think they're specifically a new rendition of alcohol, tobacco, firearms, which is now also has added a C to their, in the wake of this whole thing, is now also handling cult activity. And I don't know if it makes that super clear, but they are like ATF-C. And so they're like, yeah, just a government division that's like kind of dealing with all that shit.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was like a third party, like private entity or what, but
no.
I don't remember them throwing initials around apparently. So
that's interesting. That like expands kind of like the scope of maybe what's going on in my mind, is because if it's like an official government organization that's handling cults, like obviously we've got 2 so far that we have dealt with, which I guess cult to non-cult ratio in this show, it seems pretty high, but now we know that there's a government agency that's handling cults as well. So there's more happening in the world around this than we know.
Well, I think interesting too, and you know, we're kind of talking about Damon Lindelof, and like we just watched Watchmen. It is interesting, like Watchmen also takes place in this alternate timeline of America, and this is essentially that too, just on a less fantastic scale, I guess. But it still is. There are moments in this show where it's like, oh yeah, this is like kind of unrecognizable. Like there's things about this world that are so different, while everything else seems pretty normal and recognizable. But it's definitely a vastly different world than the one we live in. But yeah, any kind of closing thoughts on these episodes? Hopes, dreams.
Those teeth are important. The dentures that it cuts to. Why cut to the dentures? You know,
in the
backyard.
Yes.
When he's burning the fence.
Yeah. That's a good question.
It's almost like someone's making people somewhere.
God damn it. God damn it.
And they lost one of their parts.
Yep. Yep. This is all making sense.
But I did like that scene where his neighbor's burning his brother's clothes. His brother had disappeared. He's like, why don't you just take him to like Goodwill? And he's like, I don't want to see someone else walking around in his clothes.
Which I would never think of, but it's like, yeah, that might be a little jarring. Just to be like, you also went to Camp Winnemuck? I don't know. Wait a minute.
McKinley Family Reunion, 1995.
Yeah, there
you motherfucker. But there's that. there's, I mean, here's the discussion. Who do the dogs serve now if they're not ours?
The owls are not what they seem.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. I like where this is going.
Yeah. Get this.
I'm
Cerberus, right? Like Greek mythology, Cerberus owns the dogs now.
He owns the deeds to all the dogs.
Yeah.
got
I fucking solved it right here. Okay, so Hades and everything, they've been around a while, and they're like,
Yeah, I'd love to believe. Yeah,
they kind of like fell out of like what was hip in terms of religion for a while. So it's like they're now getting back in business. They're looking at the books. They're like, oh fuck, we have missed quite a few souls. We need to make up those numbers to hit our quota. Boom, bunch of the population gone, and like. They're like, dude, Cerberus has gone antsy. What's he going to do? Just give him all the dogs. And so now he controls the dogs.
So basically, all these people disappeared because some accountant in hell, Hades, needed to pad the numbers and make the books look good.
Yes.
Right.
But like you said, they're never going to reveal that in this show.
Right, yeah.
But it's totally what's happening.
Thank God our podcast exists and people can know the truth. That's very good.
But I do wonder if they're going to reveal the shit about the dogs. Like you said, I'm probably not going to find out where people went, but I want to know why we're killing dogs.
I bet Jill's friend is a Hydra. Chop her head off.
Yeah,
and
there's
two
only
more
one
come
way to
out
find
there.
out. I will say one of the other things in this episode, I love that there's a guy at the Heroes Day festival being like, these people weren't heroes. This guy sold drugs. This guy looked at porn. This guy sucks ass. Like, jeez. It's like some guys are just real killjoys about everything. It's like all these people disappear. Can we just have one goddamn weird looking fucking statue in our park now? Which isn't disturbing. That statue is fucked up. Like if I had lost someone I had to look at, I was like, oh, thank God I've got this statue to remember people by. Like, no, thank you. No, thanks.
Here's the thing with Garvey. Because of his psychotic episodes, I'm like, man, we're meant to think that he found the bagel, but really he's just imagining finding the bagel at the end. Like, this show's pissing me off because it's like he doesn't even have a daughter.
Oh my God.
Just a daughter's
She's not
friend.
real.
Tyler, women are real. Despite what TV told you, they're real. Gwen is a woman. She's on our podcast.
I thought
Gwen
we were
is
changing
wearing-
my name.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Gwen.
Exactly.
Sorry, I just totally blew up your spot. We created you a fake identity and it's gone in one episode. I couldn't even
It's all
make
good.
it.
Justin can cut this out. No one needs to know. Women aren't real.
Just pick another vowel and substitute in there.
Yeah, Gwen. Jesus. All right.
He's seeing elks. He's seeing elks, then he doesn't see elks.
That's true.
The elks get taken out by the dogs. He's the only guy who's seen this other dude. He's the only guy who's seen Red Foreman.
No, the daughter and the friend saw the dude.
But did he imagine that?
I guess since women aren't real,
For his confirmation bias on his own self.
Yeah, if women aren't real, it means their eyes also can't be real.
Astute. Excellent point.
The sad thing is, I didn't even do that on purpose. I just picked the daughter. I didn't pick Tom.
Oh my God.
I mean, I had a 50-50. The family is half.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this show's great. I can't wait. I'm excited to watch more. Yeah, is that good? We're feeling pretty. I feel like we've kind of talked about a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that, like a lot of shows we watch, it's hard to talk about because these shows are built on like kind of revealing, we'll learn more and we'll talk about those. But anyways, next week we'll watch the next two episodes, episodes 3 and 4. And it's crazy. I will say, like, I do forget like how early on, how late some like major characters come into this show, or just characters are revealed to be. Oh, I guess we're gonna see a lot more of this person all of a sudden. It's really fun. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at rewatchersonthepod@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at rewatcherspod. We're going to take a brief break and be back with some recommendations. Thanks. Welcome back to the recommendation section of the podcast where we talk about other stuff that's not the leftovers that we've been watching and consuming throughout the week. Tyler, what do you have for us?
I actually don't have a lot considering how much time it's been because I got the platinum trophy on Sekiro this week.
Fuck yeah.
Holy shit.
I was wondering why you were wearing a full set of samurai armor to record our podcast.
So after I beat it, I was like, I still felt the itch to keep playing it. And I'm like, I looked how close I was to the platinum. It then took me to New Game Plus 4 to get it. And holy shit. And anytime you go up and... So once you get up a New Game, I already had all the upgrades. So by the time you start New Game Plus 1, you don't get any more like health upgrades. Like you don't stack on top of it. It's like you already got all those items. Good luck. And the bosses now hit harder. And you... Yeah. So I can't imagine playing New Game Plus 7 because that's like the max. It's like they must one-shot you on everything. Like I can't imagine. Because it was really hard at the end. But anyway, so I did that. That took up most of my free time. I guess, yeah, since last time I did start that anime called Babylon, which I was really high on for the first 3 episodes, and then it tanked pretty hard. It was a really interesting concept. It was, it's like more, it starts off more grounded and really feels more real world of that prosecutor who finds like they're doing an audit and they find a note that is, a document that it's for a pharmaceutical company. But it's like stuck together, he peels it apart, it's just dried blood, and which leads them to the doctor's house who wrote it, and then it leads them on this whole like, holy shit, there's a murder, holy shit, it's connected to these like politicians who have this prostitution ring, and then you find out it's not really a prostitution ring, it's actually just one woman, and she is, well, if you choose to watch, I won't spoil it.
She's
anyway,
not real.
There's no.
And you don't like this show?
There's like a supernatural element to it, and then it gets into like it's very much about suicide, and there's a new mayor who immediately puts in that it's like it's now legal to commit suicide and should not be frowned upon. There needs to be societal acceptance of it, and which then like after those first 2 episodes, and like that's kind of where it leaves off. You're like, oh, this should be pretty good. And then they try and tackle those issues, and oh boy, it's bad. They like anytime they try and get philosophical, it's really bad. Like they're like, we have proven this point. I'm like, no, I have a counter argument to that for like every single thing. Like, no, we've solved that. I'm like, no, you have not. And yeah, so that's frustrating in that show. There's one scene in particular where the G6 meets up, and oh man, it's a they're like debating, and it puts them in space. They're like floating around in space.
Oh my god!
And like all the world leaders of the G6. And, and the god damn it, the president of the United States. It's like telling his story. You don't know he's the president yet until the end of the episode. It's just it like cuts to this guy in America. You're like, who the hell is this? And he's like talking about his childhood. He's like very sickly. He's like, I was never very like could never like do sports or could never be very active. And then what is essentially RuneScape, he gets into RuneScape really heavy. And he is a god.
Didn't we all?
He's like a god at RuneScape. And he meets a girl on RuneScape, meets her in person. She's a fucking model. And he's like this dweeb. And she's like, you helped me overcome things in RuneScape. And it made me feel like I was a better person. Like, you are an amazing person because I'm like, this was definitely written by some nerdy-ass Japanese dude. Like this is bullshit. This is like everything that like people make fun of like neckbeards for. Like this is, oh my god. Anyway, So yeah, can't recommend that show. It has such potential. It was like, so apparently it's based on like a legitimate like novel though.
Oh, interesting.
Like the manga was an adaptation of the novel and then the anime of the manga. There was one other one I'm trying to remember that I thought I watched. I guess I started with Sekiro beaten utterly. I was like, man, I'm still feeling Souls-like itch, but I don't know what to play. I want to wait and give them a chance to do the Bloodborne remaster before I tackle that again, because I want to play at 60 frames per second, not age.
Well, also,
I do want to play before I'm 60, guys. Come on. So yeah, I was trying to find something. So I finally, I got Neo 2, the remaster of Neo 2. I tried Neo 1, and I got probably fourth of the way through it, dropped it a while ago. So I'm liking this one a lot better. But holy fuck, it's hard. It is so hard, and it's a completely different hard than Sekiro. It plays completely differently, but I'm enjoying it now. So if you like Souls games and you're looking for something new, I don't think it's as good as Dark Souls or anything from FromSoft, but I think it's respectable on its own and it's fun.
and it's got Geralt as a main character. So
Well, that's in the first one. And the second one, you get
Oh, really?
the second one has like possibly the best character customization.
oh,
I've
really?
ever-
It's good character.
It's
oh,
like-
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you create your own character, totally different character. I think it's a prequel, actually, technically.
Okay.
And man, like considering what type of game it is, I was shocked at how in depth and good the character creator is. It's probably, I would consider it like as good as anything else out there.
Interesting. Cool. All right, Gwen. Go on. Fuck. Go on. Shit. What do you have for us? Amorphous
Well,
blob to my right.
that's quite a shift from channeling Leia at one point in the evening. Anyway, I still suck at Destiny.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were playing that.
I've played like a whole 10 hours now.
Oh, good.
And I keep trying to double tap W to run because that's what you do in Minecraft to run.
Yeah.
You do? You don't hold shift to run in Minecraft?
Right.
I've never played on PC.
Yeah.
Oh.
You double tap W and
Blasphemy.
so well, here's the thing. I was like, I keep doing this. And I keep getting killed because I can't think to hit shift to run. So maybe I can lock it so that it is double tap W to run. And I Googled it, and the first result was a Reddit thread saying, "No, you idiot, this isn't Minecraft." Oh, man. So...
I've
Felt a
never
lot
gotten
of
a
shame.
search result.
I don't think I've
Perfect.
ever like that's such you just got owned by the internet.
It was really specific
really
and
good.
yeah.
I wish you could find whoever that other person was that originally posted that question, because it might be like, I would imagine it would be two Gwens showing up. Just like,
Let's talk about books. Yeah. So what I really want is for the Borderlands remaster or whatever the hell, so that Justin and I can play again.
yeah.
But I also watched seasons 3 and 4 of Legend of Korra. From what I remember, season 1 was good. Season 2 sucked ass. And then, so season 3 was, it was good. It was good. And season 4 was all right. So if you're an Avatar fan, it's probably worth a watch.
Is that it? Is it 4 seasons?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize there were even 4 seasons. I thought there was like
Yeah, I
2.
was
I don't remember.
surprised when I got to the end of season 3 and I was like, oh, this isn't over. Okay, here we go.
How many seasons of Avatar are there?
3.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you like Avatar, it's probably worth a watch. And then I watched Bridgerton, and you guys,
How was that?
it's the trashiest shit ever.
I mean, it's like, from what I've heard, it's like Pride and Prejudice. With
It's
fucking.
yeah, that's how I described it to Justin. Is Pride and Prejudice with a lot more sex, and the people are way more stupid and bullheaded.
Oh yeah.
But it was really fun. I
cool.
was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this soap opera. Here we go.
Nice.
That was good. It was
That's
fun.
based on a series of books, right?
I think so,
Okay.
yeah. No, definitely.
Okay.
Because she's written through like the 4th book and yeah. Yeah, it's good. The big mystery is there's a a gossip rag essentially that's published clearly by a woman in high society, and you don't know who it is. So,
But it ends up being the guy. So it's Gossip Girl.
I was just gonna say that.
I don't know the premise of Gossip Girl,
Do
but
we
sure.
need does that need to be a show on our? I'm real tempted to do
Katie
a
would
Gossip Girl
love
rewatch.
to, 'cause, like,
Riley would probably have to be a guest again.
That'd be fun. Let's do
yeah.
it.
I tried watching with Katie, and I mean, it's
I feel like we can't do it while Mitchell's in London, though. I feel like we couldn't.
it's crazy that
He
all this
dropped
is
his-
happening while Mitchell's gone.
That is so, there is. I am the only person on Earth I feel like that will like feel that joke the way that you intended.
Oh man,
God damn. Okay. Yeah. Seriously though, we might.
that's
have
why
to,
you're in my life. Tyler.
we might have to do Gossip Girl, and maybe we'll have to do Bridgerton. I don't know.
Right.
Fuck, man.
Sure. It
There's
was
too
fun.
much TV.
We get more listeners if we do Bridgerton.
Man, I gotta get these contract renewals for all of our hosts for this podcast stuff because there's so much TV out there. Any other recommendations?
That's it.
Cool. Okay. I have a few. I got a PS5 2 weeks
Dude.
ago.
What?
Because I.
How much did you pay for it?
I bought it from Target.
Oh,
So
you got it on.
$500.
You got it on sale.
Got it on sale, yeah. Got the VIP price. Because I just got to work one day and I had logged into my Twitter for some reason, and I had followed all these like PS5 restock accounts months ago and totally forgotten about them. And I just logged into Twitter, and the first thing was like, "They're at Target right now." And I looked at it, it was like 27 seconds ago. I was like, "Fuck!" So I was like, "This is my only chance." And I had to like click checkout like 4 times, and it kept being like, "Hey, dog, there's none in Salt Lake." And I was like, "There's one in Salt Lake," and I got one. So,
That like stressed me out hearing about it.
yeah, it's the worst.
Having
It's awful.
flashbacks to my experience.
It's so bad. But yeah, so I don't know if I did play that Astro's Playroom. Oh man, I'm probably gonna play more Astro's Playroom. It is the exact flavor of nostalgia for my body. Like just walking around and being like, oh, fucking Cloud's sword is stuck in the ground, and these guys are dressed up like characters from Resident Evil, and it's very cute. And that controller, just like the walkthrough of that controller is really cool.
The first level where it rains and then it rains harder and you can tell the difference in the
Yeah.
controller. I was like, holy shit.
I I had to have people. I was like, hold this. Okay, now run on this platform. Now run into the grass.
Anyone that came to my
Right?
house, I'm like, here.
That's really good. But yeah, and I did. The first thing I booted up was Borderlands 3. It's so good. It runs so much better. It's really great. Fucking sucks that that's the case. Anyways. But I've been playing a couple other games. I played a game. I don't think I talked about this. I've been playing a game called Blue Ruin, which is it's kind of like mashing up elements of Hollow Knight and like older Zelda games. It's like this 3D platformer, but it's got this very like difficult combat. And the platforming gets fucking insane. You have to do like these little kind of challenge rooms to get new like heart containers. And after the first one, I was like, oh, this is sweet. It's got a really good flow. I'm already feel like I'm good at this game. And then they're like, check out this second room. And I was like, fuck, I am ass at this game. But it's really cool. I think it's, I don't know. It's it's scratching an itch I didn't know I had, I guess. But it's kind of got this Hollow Knight vibe, while being kind of like an older feeling 3D platformer that I really like. I also spent about an hour playing Valheim this week, which is an early access game on Steam, which I don't know if you guys have seen. It's like fucking everywhere.
Yeah, it's all over.
And that game might be really good.
That's what I've heard.
It feels, it is reminding me a lot of things I feel when I'm playing Minecraft. But there's also just a little bit more structure. There's like these very clear goals of like what you're trying to do, that they're building towards, which basically just involves you amassing resources until you feel ready to destroy one of 6 gods. And it's pretty cool. Like it's got a really cool, I think those like survival games always have like a shitty aesthetic. Like you'll watch Rust or like even something like Arma 3. It's got this very specific like jank to everything visually, and this like has some really interesting style choices. Like the character models kind of look like PS1 characters. Like they're almost that polygonal, but just smooth enough.
Some of the textures are really low res too.
Yeah,
that I've
yeah.
seen.
And like there's like some depth of field stuff that is cool. I which I don't normally like. I think normally depth of field stuff has some real shitty like things in video games, but I don't know, it's got this really cool vibe to it. So I've been playing that, and that's really fun and interesting. The other two things I have to recommend, one is an anime, one's a manga. I started watching an anime. I really like shonen anime, I'm finding out, which is like the anime for 14-year-old boys. But there's a new anime called Jujutsu Kaisen, which directly translates to sorcery fight.
Huh.
And it is about this guy who they basically magic exists in this world, and he accidentally finds this like cursed object that then he gives to his friends who are in the occult club, and they're like, we're gonna play with a Ouija board with it. And he's like, that sounds cool, but my grandpa's dying, so I gotta go to that. And then this other guy shows up who's like been hunting for this artifact, and he's like, you need to give that to me because it's really fucking shit up. And anyways, they unwrap this artifact, and it's like this finger that summons this giant amorphous blob monster. Anyways, this kid goes back to try to save his friends, and then remembers that someone told him that if you eat cursed objects, that it might give you powers. And normally it just kills people, but he eats this finger and like is kind of taken over by this very like ancient bad entity. But for some reason he can kind of like come in and out of it. So these magic people are like, listen, we were just going to execute you because you've got this fucking demon inside of you. But listen, there's 20 more of these fingers. And so instead you can either die now or you can die after you've eaten 20 of these fingers so we can see what the fuck happens. And he's like, I'll do that. And it's pretty cool. Like, it's really fun. Like, he's just got this demon inside of him that, like, all of a sudden there'll just be another mouth on his cheek that's, like, talking to his friends. And he covers it up. And then the mouth just moves to the backside of his hand because it's in his body. So it's really cool. It's really fun. I'm excited to see where it goes. There's only one season out now. I've probably watched 3 episodes, but I really like it so far. The other thing I've been reading is a manga called Chainsaw Man. Have you talked about Chainsaw Man?
I don't even know what Chainsaw Man is, but it sounds legit already.
Chainsaw Man is fucking cool. The art in it reminds me very much of Dorohedoro, and apparently they're making it into a manga or into an anime. And the same studio that did Dorohedoro is doing the anime, which makes me very excited. I don't want to say much about Chainsaw Man other than just go fucking look up some Chainsaw Man and look at some of the visuals. It's pretty self-explanatory. There's a man with a chainsaw, and there's some shit that goes down. I'm only like 10 chapters in, but it's really good. Definitely check out Chainsaw Man, especially if you checked out Dorohedoro and liked it. I think that at least kind of visually and sort of tonally, it's hitting a lot of the same notes, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. But yeah, that's it for me.
I didn't know you watched Dorohedoro. Have you watched it?
I did, yeah. I don't think we ever
know
talked
if we talked about it. Yeah,
because we talked about it for like 3 weeks in a row, and
Yeah.
then I think I just was
Okay.
like, I don't really have much to add on Dorohedoro, but fuck, Dorohedoro
Cool.
is really good.
we
Eagerly awaiting more Dorohedoro.
Truman and I tried to get Gwen to watch it last night, and we got through the pilot, and then the next episode, and Gwen dipped out. But
That's fair.
Look,
Yeah.
I get the appeal.
Do you, Guan?
Dude, like right from the opening scene to then the opening of that show, like the opening credits, I was like, what is happening? I love this. Like, oh man, the baseball fucking
Yep.
baseball
Yeah,
episode.
it's pretty amazing.
yep,
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a lot to talk about. I can't remember if I mentioned the last time we were together that I had also started to replay what I had played previously of Sekiro. So I beat Genichiro, I think is his name. He's like the first main boss that you fight, who I did not fight ever the first time I played the game. Like I skipped him entirely.
Dude, he's like, you better fucking know how to parry.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well,
the first boss that really makes you do that.
And I like having played Dark Souls and Bloodborne, which Bloodborne has like it feels totally separate than the Dark Souls parries already. The parry in this game feels entirely different too. Like I feel like in Dark Souls, in order to parry, you are deflecting as the weapon is coming towards you, and in Sekiro, I feel like you have to deflect literally as it touches you instead. At least that's been my experience. But I feel badass when I pull it off. Like those thrust attacks that you step on. Oh man,
the Mikiri counter.
that's so cool. Yeah. So I haven't played that in a week or so, but I am getting back to it. And then just real quick, I have not yet finished Lovecraft Country, but I'm really close. I think I've got like 2 episodes left, and I just wanted to like give a quick update because I recommended it previously. I don't know if I recommend it anymore. I'm going to finish it because I'm this far, and I just turn it on when I'm like working out or whatever right now. That's kind of tells you how I feel about it. It's really all over the place once you get in. Like I feel like the first couple episodes feel really good. But once you get a few more episodes in, like it just kind of goes everywhere. And like, even like there is a story that is being told and some like consistent themes and stuff, but like the quality between episodes is just totally all over the board. It's really weird. Like one of them feels like you could be watching something that was made on like the History Channel or something, and then like the next one, it's like, oh yeah, this feels like a really good HBO show. But it's just it's weird how all over the place it is. At least that's been my experience so far.
No, I think uneven is like the perfect word to describe that show.
Yeah.
I think for me the biggest one, fucking minor spoilers for Lovecraft Country, I guess. There's like an episode that's like National Treasure where they go to the Smithsonian.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Like, where they're spending the whole episode basically in a cave that's got water rising up, and it's just garbage.
And then by the end of that episode, they have this really kind of insane reveal. Like they find this really insane thing, and then the last seconds of that episode are a character just fucking destroying that thing for like no discernible reason. And it's a baffling show. And then the next episode is the one that's about Lottie's sister, which is like this really incredibly put together fucked up thing.
Messed up, yeah.
About being a black woman in the workplace in the 50s and then being a white woman, you know what I mean? Like and it's really like I remember watching that episode and being like, fuck, this is like what I thought the show was gonna be. And then next episode's kind of like back to the grind of making a Monster of the Week cereal, I guess. Like it's fucked up and weird. I feel like that show doesn't really know what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. I think, like I said, I've got like 2 episodes, so I'll finish that up. But I'm probably not going to talk about it anymore, just because like I was so on board with it to start off, and now it's just like, nah, you don't really need to watch this.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, cool. Well, we will be back next week with episodes 3 and 4 of The Leftovers. Yeah, that's it. You've been here with me, Tyler Harris, and
Guanhammer?
fucking Guanhammer. That sounds like a tool I need.
Sounds like a wrestler.
Can you pass that Guanhammer? I got these gloons that are just fucking sticking out. I gotta guan them down.
Rick and Morty game.
Yeah, that's true. That's fucking
Tyler McKinley.
Justin Hammer.
See you later. Guan you later.